Good evening. It's one of the most senseless acts of violence in this country's recent history. 17 people have been killed at the hands of a lone gunman. Now, tonight, we're learning more about the victims and the horrific ordeal that ended in the suspect shot dead.
Today is a devastating day for Nova Scotia, and it will remain etched in the minds of many for years to come.
Unspeakable violence that lasted 12 hours and spanned through several rural communities. It started as a firearms complaint late Saturday night in a small community of Portapique, along the Bay of Fundy, about an hour and a half outside of Halifax. Investigators say the 911 calls led them to the residence in Portapique.
When police arrived at the scene, members located several casualties inside and outside of the home.
At least 17 people gunned down at multiple locations, including RCMP Constable Heidi Stevenson, a 20-year veteran of the force, killed while responding to the active shooter call.
Earlier this afternoon, I met with Heidi's family, and there are no words to describe their pain. 2 children have lost their mother, and a husband has lost his wife. Parents have lost their daughter, and countless others lost an incredible friend and colleague.
The gunman who led officers on an overnight manhunt has been identified as 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman. He was killed in a confrontation with police, but not before leading police through multiple communities, with a number of structures lit on fire along the way. In a bizarre twist, Mounties had warned the gunman may have been impersonating an officer, saying he might be driving a look-alike RCMP vehicle and wearing a uniform. During the manhunt, residents were urged to stay inside their homes and lock their doors, as officers swarmed in on the hunt for Wortman, described as armed and dangerous and on the run.
It's cottage country. In the summertime, this is where this occurred, in one of those nice little peaceful cottage subdivisions along the Bay of Fundy. It's a shock. This stuff's not supposed to happen in rural Colchester County or Nova Scotia. It's hard to describe. It really is hard to describe. It's hard to imagine that this happened here.
The more than 12-hour ordeal eventually came to an end at this gas station in Enfield, about 35 kilometers from downtown Halifax.
My hearts go out to everyone affected in what is a terrible situation.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau thanked RCMP members involved in the chase for resolving the attack.
I want to thank the police for their hard work and people for cooperating with authorities.
RCMP say they're still bracing to find more victims, as the numerous crime scenes are still being searched. Officials say it appears the victims had no connection to the shooter.